This is Stonkington. Today I wanted to create a video that went through a couple trade recaps from last week. I also wanted to break down some of the technical analysis skills that have been helping me out a bunch and break down my chart setup. I had put out a chart key, but I wanted to go through that to kind of help make clear the best way to get some value out of the screenshots and setups I'm posting throughout the day in the Roadhouse, as well as on the Blackbox Discord. So to start out, just say nothing in this video is meant to be a buy or sell recommendation. This is just me kind of breaking down some techniques and things I use for technical analysis. And to start, I will jump over to the Blackbox Discord, and here in the main trade room, I have pinned something that's helped me a ton, these PDFs, chart pattern cheat sheets. So the second one here, this is really what I'm looking for throughout the day, and then I use Blackbox to support the direction of the trade. So during the day on Voice in the Roadhouse, Hells, Bender, and I are kind of having ongoing discussions of what we see, and I get a lot of value out of that because it's like, there's all kinds of fake outs and reversals, and it helps to kind of have multiple sets of eyes. We have a lot of great traders in the room as well that are taking a look at these patterns, so it's like working together, kind of getting an idea of how these may play out, but also noting that these have a stop. Like, this gives you an idea of where you want to, realize that this trade idea was wrong and it's time to get out. So it's important to learn from those losses. So, and whoever finds a trade or whatever setup it might be, there can still be a loss. So I wanted to review examples of both winners and losers from some setups that I saw this past week. And while doing that, I'll be also going through these indicators that I use on the chart. So to get the list of the indicators, if you follow me on Twitter, I posted that back, my chart key back on August 13th. If you are on the Blackbox Discord, my chart key is here in the council room and pinned right down here. So here on this Apple setup, I saw this bear pennant. That's what it looked like to me. So here if we come back, there's the bearish pennant. So here's the setup. This is just the simplified Apple chart, and then I'll go through one by one on these indicators and basically how to read when I put out one of these charts. Okay, so to start, just kind of going through what you might see on a chart that I post and how to read it. These dotted white lines are going to be just trend lines that I'm drawing based on what I see the price action is doing. This is what I'm using to try and highlight when these patterns start building out. And I like to use dotted lines as a visual reminder that nothing's set in stone. These can break and just fake out. So that's kind of, I see the bear pennant. That's what it looked like to me at the time. And then I want to start kind of going through some of the other indicators that work for me. There's a lot of different, ways that you can pick and choose these, but I always have VWAP on the chart. I've been liking this volume profile indicator on TradingView. It gives you a visual reminder of kind of like how many shares might be sitting at a certain level. So it's highlighting this and I use a dotted line to differentiate, because I'll always use a green line for a call trigger and red for puts, but this wasn't on the list. So this is just kind of going through on Apple how this chart setup would look. The 9 EMA, I'm always looking for cross-ups down through VWAP and through the 34. Learned that one from there's a few traders that kind of pointed that one out. It's a really good technique that I like to watch. And then there's a few others, but the 9 EMA, 34, and the 89 are the ones that I really like. And then I'll throw an orb, again, dotted lines so that I can differentiate between my call and put triggers. And then also I highlighted here there was a dark pool on Apple, which is kind of cool to see how it lines up almost pretty close there with the volume profile. So so this is the setup, and just letting this one play out. You can see it kind of just faked out. So it broke down, not a lot of volume, and then it pushed right back up. So I'd be like watching for these trend lines to retest and hold. You know, Hells is over there reminding us just not good timing to be short Apple, and we can see it just faked out. And so it's like, no matter, you know, what the pattern setup is, it's like, it's important to know, you know, you got to stop out as opposed to just hanging on. It's all about risk management. And as a scalper, I know I only needed a couple candles in the trade that are going to help it work out for me. Also with, you know, stepping away, going to work, it's like being a really quick scalper. This Apple just turned into kind of a choppy day on this one on Thursday. But highlighting just here, it's, you know, just because seeing this a bear pennant setup does not mean all inputs, but you know, just kind of one example. Wanted to give some examples of some other setups from this past week. You know, I get questions on how to use the watch list levels, so I wanted to kind of go through on Nvidia. So Nvidia put this one out October 5th. This was the setup for October 6th. So I just kind of added these lines to the chart using the same as the chart key we reviewed earlier. I always put the dark pool in gold. This has been an important one on Nvidia. It's reacted to it a few times. And just kind of want to go through the mindset of using the list. So here right out of the gate, it breaks, and just insanely risky. You know, I'm always trying to wait through the open, get an orb set up, just give things time to shake out, just because contract prices are moving so crazy, and you know, there's just a lot of risk. If at some point it's going to reverse or, you know, pull back, and so it just has helped me a lot to give things some extra time to shake out. But I do, you know, talk about Fibs in some of my other videos. Personally, I get a lot of value out of Fibs on like a 4-hour time frame, but you can use Fibs intraday. And this was kind of an interesting example, just by taking the Fibs from this first candle, just the range of that candle, start to get an idea of some other places that Nvidia might react. And it was, you know, just kind of an example of the value of Fibs, how they can give you hints at these different areas as possible support and resistance. So to get an idea of the Fib settings that I use, I took a screenshot of this right here and just dropped it into the council room on the Blackbox Discord. I used to only use the range 1 to -1 with some pretty standard 236, 382, 618, 786. But you know, I learned a lot from Bender, and I noticed he was using some outside the standard range of 1. So I've been adding these, which can help, you know, once we start going past some of the other standard Fibs I had. But I've mentioned before, you know, so I like the Fibs on the 4-hour, and really for me, just with so many lines, it's like it can get you out of the trade early if you're expecting a Fib line that may or may not get a reaction. Also, it was harder for me to see these patterns with so many horizontal lines there. So I kind of simplified a bit, and this was the setup that I did end up calling on voice, was this double top. And we can kind of add some of the indicators that we reviewed, and just see, like, you know, there we have the orb range and kind of losing the EMAs as the double top comes in. So that was kind of helpful to see that, and then also showing the value of having dark pool from Blackbox. It also ended up being lower orb. So that was the setup on Nvidia, and mentioning just being a scalper. It's like, Here, even just 3-bar trade, it's like if you bought a put, confirmation of the double top, the EMAs. This can be just a quick short scalp. And one of the things I've been getting a lot of value from learning from the different black box moderators, just using stops, locking profits in along the way. Just putting stops in, for me at least, helps with the mindset of just avoiding greed and like just wondering like, oh, when's this going to turn around? It's like, for me, I set a stop. If I have to walk away, setting a stop is huge. And then it's like, especially I'd rather walk away and know that no matter what happens from here forward, I'll have some green locked in, as opposed to just thinking it's going to keep going. We might not get a trend day or whatever could happen. So just an example of the mindset of on Nvidia of waiting for retest, how you could have used Fibs, and then looking for these patterns to play out. Whether I'm around on voice or not, you can start studying up on these and be looking for those kind of setups. So that is Nvidia. Okay, so the next trade setup I wanted to review from this past week was on Tesla. This was from Thursday. And here was another one, good having those multiple sets of eyes, kind of talking through setups as I see them with Bender and Hells and Roadhouse members. So this was another one where I am seeing the setup on Tesla, and I'm starting to see this bear flag, but Hells is over there saying, no, Stonkington, don't bear flag my Tesla. So we're kind of talking, looking at that, and then I mentioned I like to do the Fibs on the 4-hour. So zooming out on Tesla, this, as it was kind of getting that bear flag look to it on the 3-minute, if I zoom out, and this looks like a pretty important line that Tesla is sitting in. If I just tried to do some quick Fibs here from that range, there's a few things that line up doing it this way, and it looks like there's maybe a line up here, but would kind of, in general, just be wondering if there's going to be support on Tesla if we're zooming out on longer time frames. So if I come back over to the 3-minute, I'm seeing this little flag and the support line. So would just be watching, need the volume and the break with confirmation. And we get a little push up, but it's like it doesn't even come all the way back down to low of day and starts pushing back up. So this was another one where it's like, okay, got the break with no volume, was kind of a little flag, but it started pushing right back up. And then we see Tesla come down into this area. So this is one where I wanted to just highlight using Blackbox and the value of the information that we get coming through here. So just kind of quickly go through. This was not specifically a flow trade, but this is, when I'm reading Flow Live in the Roadhouse, this is the filters that I have set up. But this was Tesla from October 6th. So if we go over to Blackbox and go into historical mode, what caught my eye that I had mentioned in the Roadhouse was on Tesla, this dark pool that came in during the day. This 1.18% came in during the day at 237.77. So for me, I really, I get a lot of value out of these dark pools through Blackbox. But some of the ones while I'm scalping during the day that I found have the most directional value to me are these ones that come in with, more than the less than 1%, you got to be above 1, that come in real time. Because then I can just watch this line and get a hint. So that one was at 237.77. So if I go in and add this line, I'm just going to be waiting for Tesla to react to it to give me a directional signal based on the real-time dark pool print again, those are the ones that I get the most value of when they come in during the day. So I'm just kind of watching this line for now, and as this starts to build up and hold above, this is looking bullish on Tesla just based on the fact that it holds this dark pool. Then, so we have this pop here, and then start to see another setup that I put out in the Roadhouse, where it's just starting to build into a bull pennant. I mentioned this one, and we kind of see it like goes out flat and then gets another nice little pop. So that was the break there on Tesla, and I know it looks like I didn't go back far enough. If we go back, there's another pretty important dark pool on Tesla that was giving us another hint as to where that one stalled out. So let's see if we can pull this up really quick. And this is going to be a good line that could still have some value on Tesla. It's going to be, because we're operating in this area, was this 242.4. And this one came into play multiple times last week. So we can see, having this black box data on your chart, the value there. It's like this one came in real time. This one we would have already had on the chart. And just Tesla giving some really clear signals off dark pool. And these are just kind of some of the examples. As a quick scalp, like seeing Tesla hold this, and then even just from this dark pool to this one, was a nice move up. This would just happen to be a day where I had work stuff going on, so I'm in and out, just kind of trying to call out these setups as we see them come in. So this was an interesting one on Tesla. Okay, so the last trade that I wanted to recap from this past week in this video was going to be a setup on Netflix. So this was on Thursday. I saw this little flag building out. The gold line is going to be this dark pool, 238.66, and then I found this flow. So if we go through the 7-star Mike checklist, so time frame, so they hit it a couple times in a row. Same strike, same expiration, contract price increasing, over $1 there, and all sweeps. Not millions, but not bad money. So it's like, okay, we see a bullish chart setup. We have flow. So then if I come over to Netflix, this is just queued up for that spot. Go ahead and add in the indicators and then draw the setup. Just this little flag building out up here by the upper orb. Go over. Yeah, it looks like kind of maybe this little falling wedge type deal on Netflix, and Blackbox is showing us we have bullish flow, and then we also know using Blackbox that there's a little bit of a dark pool, 238.66, so we can go ahead and add that. So between Blackbox and technical analysis setup, this is a bullish flag. We've got the flow, so just letting Netflix play out. This worked out as a really nice trade to the upside. Seeing the flow and then also seeing another flag build out right here. So this is another good example of like, as an options trader, just from here to here, that's a really nice win, and that it's like any chance to walk away with some green, and then just the fact that it put in another flag using upper orb as support. This ended up being a really nice trade to the upside on Netflix from Thursday. So I hope this video, gives a little bit more direction on how to use, what I'm putting out there in the Roadhouse, and on the Blackbox Discord and on my Twitter page. Really appreciate you watching, and I'll be looking for some setups into this next week.